I didn't mean go as in you go. I meant go as in I'm pushing the button. Go.
Whoa! I mean, come on here. What episode is this number now? What are we even doing here?
Yeah, did you even know? Did you even know?
No, I didn't. I was going to take a swing in the dark.
Can I get this bong?
Can I start the thing now?
I was going to do the music.
Do it. Is
that what the song sounds
like? Hello and welcome to episode 459 of the Steel Cage Podcast. My name is Derek Montilla, still fucking known as the mayor of Reseda, California, even when I don't attend BOLA due to this terrible COVID illness. But I am joined by not four, there's four of us total, but there's three of these other idiots here, and they are my favorite idiots in the whole wide world. First, he's my vice idiot and vice mayor of Reseda. It is the one and only, the Neo X.
What up, y'all? Hey, man, I saw a guy rocking that shirt, man. That was your calling card.
I know. He had on the reduce, reuse, Reseda shirt, and that's usually my jam, but
I was quite taken aback. I was about to beat that motherfucker up.
Please. Next time you see someone wearing anything that I wear, beat the shit out of them. Also joining us, obviously, if Neo is the vice mayor, this man is the governor of CVS and the president of Denny's. It's Uncle Beek.
I have actually passed out in front of that Denny's. So, yes, it's reasonable that I am the governor of this said Denny's.
Yeah, is it due to waiting at like 3 a.m. for a table?
I think it was a combination of waiting for people and then also maybe some drinks at the
Perhaps a couple of pitchers over at the old American Legion Hall. Last but not least, he is the returning king, the founder and proprietor of the Steel Cage, and the reason I'm friends with Jared, it is Joshua Schlag.
I'm sorry about that last thing there.
Yeah, that last thing really sucks. It really does. But thanks for coming back to the show, Josh.
I mean, I figure I actually watched some wrestling the last week. I
don't believe it.
So now you feel relevant?
He feels ready to talk about it. Well, is that excitement generated by AEW? Was it excited? Were you excited
Royal
about the return of Brian Kendrick as a wrestler? That was very short-lived. By the way,
that's a big dewdrop mark. That's what's going on.
That's exactly what's going on. As I alluded to, we had this weird situation where Brian Kendrick was scheduled after asking and receiving for his release from the WWE to have a match against Jon Moxley on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. But after, I believe it was Bix, I think we can blame this one on Bix or credit him for it, but he reminded everybody of a really weird interview that Brian Kendrick gave about 10 years ago.
They really went into the well. When I was looking at the timestamp, I was like, that was a while ago.
Yeah, and I mean, this tends to happen, right? Where people try to move on or get redemption or whatever. Like it's not to excuse what Brian Kendrick said. It's actually inexcusable, and it's more.
He never apologized for it before this happened, so he's not like he was seeking redemption from this. No one really talked about it openly and blatantly too much. It kind of went under the radar. People kind of heard about that he was like a weird conspiracy guy, but I didn't know he's a flat-out Holocaust denier.
Yeah, it was for anti-Semitic conspiracy theories.
Right.
Yeah, that was the part.
And all sorts of weird, stupid shit, right?
He doesn't think the sun is hot.
I had remembered hearing about him talking that, getting into all the conspiracy theories and stuff. And it sounded like, he just, kind of got into it like as a hobby, like he thought it was kind of fun. But I didn't know about the Holocaust denier thing. Once that came out, I was like, okay, yeah, that's
it's like the same dumb shit with like flat earth, but it's way worse because it's an actual event, right? Like flat earthers are dumb enough, and a lot of times, like you said, that kind of shit seems to start as like just kind of a weird conspiracy theory they have that they might kind of believe in, and the next thing you know, they're actually defending the thought process of a flat earth, and you can tell those motherfuckers really believe that it's a flat earth. They really believe.
So then my question is, like, what about people like Flip Gordon, who believes in the flat earther, or what's dude's name? Bray Wyatt's brother.
He believes in lizard people, Bo Dallas.
Bo Dallas believes in lizard people. So because
let's cancel them. No, it's not the Holocaust. It's totally different.
Right.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna say
that was the rule breaker. That was the rule breaker, the anti-Semitic.
It's comments. The anti-Semitic. When you start talking about the other shit, that's just dumb, right? That just makes you kind of maybe lose credibility with people that think that
was my
you're
setup.
now, right?
It's just dumb.
It's just fucking dumb, right?
Yeah, but really, him being
when
a truther, just like Ronda Rousey is as well.
That's where it gets dangerous, right?
Or even like truther for that term. We're truthers. We believe in a total bullshit story that we try to expel.
Right. Well, it's like there was talk today on Twitter about apparently at a Masked Singer taping, Rudy Giuliani was the celebrity that was under the mask, right? And this apparently pissed off Ken Jeong and Robin Thicke enough that they walked off set. And people quickly started pointing out all the flaws with all of the hosts on that show, including anti-Semitic remarks that Nick Cannon has made, how Jenny McCarthy is an anti-vaxxer and kind of the poster child for the anti-vaccine movement.
I remember that.
And how Robin Thicke is accused of basically sexual assault on set of a music video and also stealing other people's IP. So it's like there's a lot of bad being thrown around there. But the problem really is that they gave somebody who is literally potentially a criminal, accused and found guilty of crimes, like this outlet to have this positive, like, hey, I'm here. I'm just Rudy. Right. And that's the way that fucking people get out of those situations.
Nick tussles his hair.
The thing about Brian Kendrick, what I will say is that Brian Kendrick's comments come from a long time ago, but they cross a line because they are anti-Semitic and they're kind of just not just dumb, they're dangerous, they're awful. It's like what you said about Ronda Rousey.
He's expelled him multiple times. It's not like he just said it once, made this video, and then dropped it. No, he's done it more than once and got a professional producer or cameraman to fucking film it for him and shit. Like, it's one thing to get stoned with your buddies and say, sometimes I don't know about the moon landing, bro.
Right, like on a High Spots interview or some shit like that, where you were just there and you said some dumb shit that now becomes like a viral thing on Twitter or whatever. That's different. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This was like commitment put into it, right? Like he knows the truth and he's trying to spread it. And you know what? It's kind of you brought up Ronda Rousey, which is a great point, right? Ronda Rousey, we're going to talk about what a disaster the Royal Rumble was, but she's WWE's choice to win the Women's Royal Rumble, right? And even I have a picture with her from a time where I had weed and I was at Bola and she wanted to smoke weed and I was the lucky person who was there, right? But I really am having a hard time posting that picture of me and her together because of me wanting to not have anything to do with her and her politics. Like, that was just a fun night. I like to post that picture mostly because it pisses Jared off so much when I do. But I also don't fucking want to be associated in any way with a person that believes like something. You're right. We all do.
I got one with Teddy Hart and a cat.
Oh, I do too. God, the Teddy Hart and his cat. That was always so funny, and then quickly wasn't, right? There's some terrible people, and the one thing here was that Tony Khan made the call to publicly address it and say that Brian Kendrick would not be appearing at AEW, and it had a weird kind of backlash. It kind of had the opposite backlash that you would expect. Like, typically there would be more backlash about him appearing or whatever, but instead people really felt like they folded to the pressure of, you know, the internet or something by making this call.
It's a two-sided coin. It's a two-sided coin because you have people like, well, you know, that was then, this is now. Right. Sure. And then you have other people like, well, stuff like that should never have been done in the first place. Right. So it's kind of like the lesser of two evils. Like, which way do you go? Obviously, the safer way is the way to go for this one.
We live to Sammy and the Sasha Banks scenario where he made the rape joke about Sasha and how he only got a little bit of time off and they totally cannoned this guy. But you think about it, one rape joke compared to denying the Holocaust. I hate that we're even comparing those two things. It's ridiculous. This is an unwinnable scenario.
It truly is. It truly is.
It's like a morality meter, right? Like, where does it line
why
up?
are we even bringing this up? Can't we just deal with this situation and then also agree maybe that situation sucked as well?
Yeah, exactly. It absolutely. But at the same time, there are things that like are borderline dangerous. Like I said, bringing up old Jenny McCarthy from the from Masked Singer, right? Like I do often think of her and like her passionate pleas and speeches about vaccines, and now we're at a point where people need a vaccine from this current pandemic, this current situation, and there are so many people that refuse to get it because they believe vaccines are so harmful. And the reason why people believe that is because powerful celebrities like Jenny McCarthy can make a lot of people believe whatever she says when she says something, right? And the thing about AEW now is AEW is venturing into a position of being, very big, right? Like they're gaining popularity all the time. They've established a definitive foothold in the market that WWE kind of exclusively held and are growing, right? So they kind of are in a position where they have to be careful about these public relations things. But more importantly, it's just Brian Kendrick wasn't that important in order to mortgage any kind of backlash that they were going to receive. Like I said, I just thought it was odd that instead there was backlash about canceling his appearance. Essentially, there were a lot of people that felt like, kind of like Neo said, that was in the past and that people should kind of move on from it. Oh, he was a dumb kid. It's just crazy how much different the world was fucking 10 years ago.
Damn man.
I'm just saying, He was a grown man then, and 10 years ago, shit like this actually was completely acceptable. And that's how fucking fast the world has changed in a short amount of time.
This video did not get much traction back then. I'm sure if a lot of people heard, it was like behind paywalls and shit. And I doubt there was a whole bunch of people would have been like, "Oh, Brian, just a good old Holocaust denier. No big deal." Wrestling fans these days just don't give a fuck because he's good at wrestling. That's all. He's real good at wrestling, so they're like, I want to see him wrestle the wrestling. Like, that's all it comes down to for these fucking people.
I'm a Brian Kendrick fan, or
same. I would have said I would have.
Right,
but
I'll be the.
I call that motherfucker Spanky.
I'll be the first to admit, like he really stole the show in my heart when I saw him wrestle. I never knew anything about the anti-Semitic things until this week,
right?
And so I was like. And then plus I also heard him like on the Stone Cold podcast, and I thought it was really cool, and other stuff like that. Like I've heard him around the block, but yeah, it just goes to show you, like they just uproot this stuff and boom, like that's all it takes,
Well,
I think people remember, and Beek's just like, oh yeah, because Beek's himself being Jewish takes quite a bit of exception to such language or verbiage or ideas being
right.
fucking ridiculous.
And here's the thing is sometimes with this stuff, it really gets hard to sometimes get people to care. Like sometimes you try to like bring it up like, wow, look at this crazy thing this motherfucker said, and nobody cares. And then you just kind of give up on it because you're like, all right, well, whatever. But then, there's always going to come a time, right? The internet is forever. And the internet remains undefeated. So that's something to constantly remember about us doing this stupid podcast, by the way.
6 months from now, dude, people are going to forget that he's someone's going to have to remind him. They remember this fucking Holocaust denier? They're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's how canceling works. It tells somebody remembers somebody else did something worse, and then everyone forgets about that shit.
And it's even weird now because like the concept of the canceling, that's even become like a topic, and it's like I don't know, man.
What is it called? What is it called? Doxing or doxing people now?
Doxing is typically more putting their information out there.
That's but like we want to literally destroy this person's life, and that's
right. And that's kind of what people have accused him of doing by putting this information that he filmed himself and already put out in public out there.
People saying Beek's doxed him. That's ridiculous.
Well, it's because you know why it is. It's because
it's anti-Semites. That's why.
It's the term now, right? That's the thing.
Well, doxing again. Doxing is more like you reveal their public,
where they live, their address, and everything.
Yeah, you start posting their telephone number online for people to harass them or something like that.
Got it.
This is more of Beek's just remembering That's really what it is, and then bringing it up at the exact correct time, I guess you should say. Because again, if
someone brought it to his attention because the original thing he posted, he was sharing somebody else's thing and just going off on it.
Yeah,
and then how Bix is. He likes to.
Yeah. But it's not the only strange parting of ways, I guess you should say, as information has come up that WWE has quietly parted ways with Shane McMahon. Shane O'Mac gone. When Vince said he loves firing people, he meant that shit. He loves firing people, especially Shane.
Dude, when he gives his son a birthday greeting, he just says "Happy Birthday, Shane." Their relationship always seemed like very thin ice, man. Then Shane complains at the Royal Rumble, like, "Oh, there goes your payday for wrestling."
I imagine Nick Khan fires people like Dwight does in The Office. He just gives them cakes and writes stuff in frosting, like you've been let go.
Just as super amped as Dwight would be to fire him, like, yes, let's go. I can't wait to fire this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
I don't have coworkers. I have subordinates.
I'm not all the way caught up on like the reasoning and what happened exactly. Like, I think I saw something saying like, Shane had something to do with the booking of the men's Royal Rumble match, and
he did.
Maybe he dropped the ball there.
Well, yes.
Trying to get his shit in.
There was accusations that he was more concerned about his appearance in the Rumble than producing the Rumble match itself. Then there were also apparently, because the Rumble match was such a disaster, and that's not just the opinion apparently of the internet. That is the opinion of people involved with producing the show, with the wrestlers themselves, that it was a clusterfuck. As far as the planning and the way the guys knew what they were going to do out there and everything.
Kofi missed his stuff, guys.
I heard it was rewritten like at least 4 or 5 times.
Right. So apparently he did some finger pointing at Jamie Noble and blamed Noble for it, and then that's where the finger pointing back from others came, that Shane was more worried about his what he was going to do in the match than producing it.
From the perspective, so me, I haven't watched hardly any WWE content in really almost the last 2 years. Definitely the last year. I feel like this is probably about the 3rd show I've seen. I always like coming around for the Royal Rumble. It gets me excited. That's why I wanted to tune in. That and the fact that I put $10 in a betting pool with you guys.
That's correct. Thank you for that.
But
you won the Women's Rumble, by the way?
I did, which was very exciting. I got a lucky draw there. But watching the men's Rumble, usually you're super amped for the men's Rumble. You're like, all right, what kind of surprises are going to be? This is going to be cool. They're starting off with Shinsuke and AJ. It's like, all right, this is
that was dope. Yeah, no, absolutely.
But then it was Jobber City, all across the place, and not just from the perspective of these are guys that I don't recognize, but some of those dudes legit sucked, and I did not understand why they were featured in the Royal Rumble, where we didn't have. I mean, we had Bad Bunny and we had Johnny Knoxville, which is those were okay, I guess, but you always kind of expect a little bit of alumni or something, and it was just schlub after schlub.
Bad Bunny eliminated more people than 50% of the members of the Royal Rumble themselves.
I had no problem with that.
Giving Kane numbers.
It's. I mean,
I think he got 3 limbs.
Yeah,
I just numbers, but it's respectable.
No, it's respectable. There were no surprises. There was no NXT entrance. There was nothing. And not only that, but you also had Booker T on the pre-show talking about betting odds and bringing up that Brock Lesnar was a favorite more than once. So, and I watched the pre-show just because I had it on and I saw him say this, right? So you had fucking Booker T giving away the only secret of the Rumble in the beginning just because the betting odds were pointing towards Brock Lesnar. If that's the case, don't fucking bring it up.
He's also fucking with the betting odds.
You don't have to bring it up.
He works there. He's fucking with the betting odds. That's messed up.
I mean,
honestly,
seriously.
If you think about it in a betting standpoint, you shouldn't be doing that shit.
The entire concept of betting on pro wrestling is just still wild to me.
Ridiculous.
I won 98 cents from DraftKings, by the way, on the Royal Rumble somehow.
Shit,
I don't know why, but apparently. Yeah.
But you know what? I will say, like, my kids were watching the Royal Rumble while I was doing laundry, and they were getting a kick out of it. And that just goes to Josh's point where, like, I would love to watch the Royal Rumble because it's fun to watch. But then I remember, like, all the stuff that I saw on social media, and I'm like, I don't even want to watch it. Like, I just heard it was lame. My kids got a kick out of it.
Well,
God bless them.
Let's be honest.
I was just
the women's Rumble was fun. I mean, even that was apparently a mess backstage and a mess as far as the coordination goes. But that one still, it seemed like, was leaps and bounds better than the men's Royal Rumble. The men's Royal Rumble, I mean, we were in a chat together the entire time. We were making jokes about, well, whoever gets Brock Lesnar is going to win this thing, right? Even when Brock Lesnar wasn't a competitor. And sure as shit, when he came out, it was like I think some people just like noped out of the chat at that point. They're like, well, good night, everybody. I'm not even going to sit around and watch the way that this plays out because I know it's going to happen. It was so predictable. It ends with, you know, WWE once again feeling like they need to bow down to the casual viewer and have the Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey be the winners of the Rumble so that everybody that doesn't watch wrestling gets excited about it, right? And I mean, I don't know. It's fucking AEW caters to their fans, the wrestling fans, not the casual fans that might tune in because they do something. They'll still do big stunts and dumb shit to try to draw in casual people, but they don't sacrifice.
Johnny Knoxville.
Oh yeah, hey, let's come on. Let's give credit where credit's due. Knoxville and fucking Bad Bunny both did it, and as a matter of fact, Knoxville took some scary bumps. Knoxville did some shit that looks like he has no business being in a fucking wrestling ring because he's way too eager to actually hurt himself and not give a damn about his body. But that's not what wrestling is. You need to protect yourself or you're going to break your neck or something. You mean
the same guy who fought Butterbean? Who was in the brawl for all?
Dude, that guy, Neo, that is the best. That is like my favorite part of that because after he regains consciousness, he's on the ground. I believe that wasn't that even like in a no, was that in a department store?
Yeah, department.
Yeah, they would go show up and start boxing.
Yeah, so they rouse him at that point, and he comes to, and the first thing he says is, "Butterbean okay?"
Somebody actually took during the match, Johnny Knoxville throws like a really nice forearm, and somebody took that video and added Japanese wrestling audio to it. So it's that like the crispest forearm you ever heard, and all the people like, "Oh,
nice,
so good." One complaint I heard commonly is everyone was bitching about how bad everyone's music sucks these days. Like,
it's so bad.
It's so boring and one note. You don't even remember. Like, if they come out, you're like, who is this? Then you look at the Titantron and then you fucking know. But there's no good songs really nowadays.
I mean, even the good songs, they almost kind of poke fun at them, you know, like where Sami Zayn has his old opening and then it and goes to some shitty generic like creator wrestler soundtrack 5 kind of deal. Seth Rollins only banger right now in WWE. Seth Rollins song is fantastic.
I like it. Like we got to make a sing along song for me. I need a fucking sing along song, please.
They started doing that during his match, and it was fantastic. It was really, really good. It was perfect. By the way, he had an interview with Ryan Satin, and I absolutely love the fact that he's just such a bad dancer that he said like this is the only time in his life that he like lets himself go while he's dancing, and I find his dancing to be delightful during his opening, his entrance and everything. Seth Rollins is the best thing going on in WWE. The feud with Roman is great. Getting in his head by coming out to the Shield music during the Royal Rumble and everything. It was such a great way to kick off the show. I thought it was such a fantastic mind fuck that he was doing with Roman. So right now, Seth, for me, he really can't do any wrong. Everything he's doing has been fantastic. Outside of that, I don't know. I still love the Roman's program and everything Roman's got going on. The crossover with Brock has been good. I haven't hated it. And honestly, the betrayal by old Paul Heyman there makes me can't wait to see what happens on SmackDown on Friday. So I mean, it's all at least it's making me want to watch stuff. But the Royal Rumble outcome
that's the only feud that was the only takeaway I had from the Royal Rumble was that everything around Roman Reigns is still fire and yeah, cool. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I imagine he probably takes out Brock Lesnar. I don't know if the super mega long-term booking is still The Rock, but that's what I still hope as a now WWE casual.
Real tribal chief.
The real tribal chief. Well, and I mean, honestly, it's so good. Sometimes WWE tends to do this where, okay, this thing's so good. How can we get it more? Right? Like how can we put it on other shows and stuff? And they've done it with Roman without overdoing it, and they still make Roman an attraction. They make it a big deal when he pops up on Raw, whereas anybody else can pretty much pop up on Raw and you don't seem to give a shit about it. But when Roman does, it's like, oh shit, got to acknowledge him. The tribal chief's here, fucking head of the table.
You're right. Those two are operating on another level entirely. Seth especially, like you mentioned the fact that he's just like going out there and just doing this. I thought he was stupidly dancing on purpose, but in fact that he's trying to dance. He's not trying to be funny.
No, he's not. He's like, this is how I dance. This is how awkward and stupid I am. But he lets himself go, I guess, and that's kind of funny.
It's so ridiculous.
But it's great. I mean, it's again, like it's the transformation, right? Seth's found a different thing, whether it's the clothes,
he got real
or
bored.
The music.
Like, even up to the Messiah point, like before he did this, it was like, all right, this is kind of one note. People have done this, but this is like insane.
Well, and it's weird because it kind of is the Messiah character. Like he went crazy and now he's this, but then like he dropped all of that and he's moved on to like the suits and the laughter and the song and everything. It was a weird babyface moment, though. I think it was on SmackDown when the crowd started chanting his song during his match. I think it was against, I want to say it was the Usos, or maybe it was against Roman, but it was fantastic. It was great to see.
Too likable. Like the whole gimmick.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
Fun at this point.
Right. It's kind of a babyface thing, and I don't mind it. Like he doesn't need to change who he is. He can just keep doing that thing and let us love the crazy, insane, Seth Rollins, right?
And they did the inverse with did it with Bobby Lashley. Like Lashley is pretty much a baby face now.
Correct.
Just because
his action.
Like it just,
his action.
Now he's a different guy. Yeah.
Right. I don't need the hurt business. I want to do it on my own. I want to do it the right way. They pushed it a bit hard with the package, with him and Brock. Yeah. With like the athletic accomplishments that he's an athlete. I liked how they kind of retconned his entire Impact Wrestling career. They were like, Bobby left to go do MMA, and then he came back. And it was like, come on, motherfucker.
MMA. We might be mentioning Impact on this show, but we're not mentioning Impact.
We're not doing it twice.
No.
We're letting Mickey come down with the belt. That's fucking enough. Calm your ass down.
Come on, country.
That was rad, by the way. That was rad. It was rad for her to have the belt and the little placard that said Impact Women's Champion. That's great, man. I mean,
love a Chiron.
It really Chiron. Thank you. It shows that WWE is definitely growing, right? And honestly, who knows what the hell happens? The Bullet Club just showed up on Impact Wrestling tonight, and I mean, if WWE was smart, they would start jumping on some of this, Forbidden Door shit themselves more often, because the Mickey James response was the reception was pretty good.
You think WWE is ready for any sort of Bullet Club shenanigans?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they partnered with New Japan way back in the day in the mid '90s. Before, it wouldn't surprise me to have it again. And I think
now that they've partnered with people in the Royal Rumble, I'm saying like modern age Bullet Club. Like, do you feel like it would create significant buzz for WWE, or do you think it'd just be a drop in the bucket?
Vince would bring it in and bury it like he did.
Exactly. Exactly. It depends on how they handle it, right? I mean,
well, New Japan probably wouldn't let them totally fucking bury it, because that's not, they want to keep their shit.
Yeah, because New Japan owns that IP, so they want to make sure that those sales stay strong.
I predict 50-50 booking then, fellas.
There you go.
We're drawing right down the middle.
I saw a post today about MVP's run as the Intercontinental Champion in New Japan that I don't really know much about, but I found that to be pretty cool. And it made it sound like MVP was one of the first guys, like some of these AEW guys, that kind of had enough of WWE shit and went elsewhere because he felt like there was other places to wrestle. And
Hulk Hogan probably did it first, you know. He was
I wasn't saying MVP was the first by any stretch of the imagination. I just didn't know that he did that. I didn't know he
in regards to people getting sick of the WWE stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I think who does it? I think Brock also did it, right? He got sick of that stuff and went to Japan. I think the Road Warriors also did it too, right?
They were in Japan first.
They were in Japan first. I just think what the thing about it is, it's kind of irresistible for some of these other companies to work with WWE, just like it's irresistible for someone that's a wrestler to go work for WWE. You know, at our core, I think everybody wants to be a part of WWE if you're a wrestling fan at some point in your life. And if you get that call and you get that offer, it's hard to turn it down. It's just up to WWE to decide if they want to do that, right? I mean, it goes back to what I was saying about AEW kind of being fan service for wrestling fans, and then WWE just kind of messes with us all the time and caters more to the people who aren't fans to try to bring them in because they feel like they already have us, where, again, AEW just wants to entertain us while we're here, right? It's the reason why my guy works so well, and that's Hook, right? Hook has been an incredible phenom. It's incredible. I mean, I fucking screamed like a little girl when I saw him in Washington, D.C. It was amazing. You know, it was, and not only that, but I got to see him. Oh, I wanted to throw my panties at him. I got to see him fuck up a dude who threw fucking streamers out and was trying to like celebrate himself, and he just wrapped that motherfucker up and beat his ass. It was great. I loved every minute of it. But again, Hook is a phenom because of the way they've booked him, the way everything they've done with him. Don't get me wrong, he's a gorgeous hunky lad, and he's got the messy hair. Like, trust me, the kid that loves smoking weed and hip hop and wearing hoodies and having bad hair and fucking being moody all the time, that's me when I was 20. So I can relate to Hook quite a bit. But I just love everything about him. I really do. I love his attitude. I love his theme music. I love the way they're booking him. I love the fact we had to wait so long to finally see him. And then when we did, that shit did not disappoint. That shit was fucking awesome. Just
imagine when we get to see Veer. We've been waiting so long.
Veer.
That's what I'm talking about. But the best part about Hook is how everyone fell in love with him initially, ironically. They're just like, hey, there's Hook over there looking all cool.
Yeah.
Let's all love Hook and just love Hook. And everyone on the internet just like is enamored with Hook. And then he comes out and he's awesome. And everyone's like, our irony worked. It's perfect. It's great.
Well, it's in the CM Punk helped add to the legend, right? CM Punk was the send a Hook line, right? Honestly, send whoever, send a Hook, you know.
Yeah. What a catalyst. Like, he put him over so big simply by
really fucking did, right? Mm-hmm. But then again, the guy's also an incredible wrestler, and they add to his mystique.
Cabana. How you doing?
Oh man.
Hey,
that's what I mean about the promo when he shouted out Colt, and Colt got all kinds of attention because of that.
Right.
That comparison.
There was a lot of interpretation to said promo.
Just listen to my words, friend. No. Send Veer now. Where's he at?
Send Veer. Well, hey, again, it's kind of funny, right? Because Hook's such a sensation that WWE's literally making references to him on WWE programming when or not WWE programming. They're doing it on like social media, but they're doing the
premium live events.
Send Veer thing, and then they're like, no, Veer's a lion and he is waiting in the weeds for his prey.
I've got a window open on the other monitor here with Twitter, and literally the next thing that popped up was a report. WWE has no plans for Veer.
You're right. Me and Beek were joking. He's gonna be fired before
They're just swerving us. They're just swerving us for the sake of swerving.
They're well aware how ridiculous how this has gone on, and they're just playing with it as long as they possibly can. Because he did not show up at the Royal Rumble. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, he did not show up at the Royal Rumble in any way, shape, or form.
So funny.
Nobody did. There was nobody. Like, there was no surprises outside of
Well, that would technically be a surprise. That would be just like a guy they've been talking about showed up.
It's just time. It would have been time, right? And then they could have, and then they would have eliminated him in 8 seconds. That's what they would have done, right? Just to shit all over their own thing that they're doing. I don't even
so much more upside with Hook anyway. So why are they
feel like
the parody him? It's dumb.
I feel like WWE is just a constant self troll. Like that's what I feel like they're doing. Like they're just trying to hey, how can we ruin our own thing that we're getting?
They're just
over?
Super self aware, like Cody Rhodes.
Like they made this guy, they made him a meme, and that's a terrible thing for his career. Like they should not have made him a meme.
I will say this about Cody Rhodes, by the way. It's really turned around in a favorable way as far as the heel thing goes. He's really figured out what to do to make this fun, right? I don't know what they're going to do now that the Rumble's come and gone with this whole contract.
What did you guys think of his version of the pipe bomb promo?
I think I was present for that.
That was 2 weeks. Yeah, that was in
DC.
I
was present for that, and it was pretty wild. I mean,
what's
weird is it's weird to be at an event like that where you have a good time aside from the jackass in front of you holding up fucking signs for every single segment. The guy brought signs for everything. But
fucking flashcard.
Was he even on camera?
Oh yeah. Like I found my face constantly because of his signs. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to find me. But I remembered what his dumb sign said, and then when I saw him on TV, he'd take him down for a second. I'm like, oh, there's me and G1 and Teak. There they are. Hey. But it's weird to go to a wrestling show that you're like, wow, I had a fun time. And then you find out afterwards that it was trash and you weren't supposed to have a good time, and how sorry everybody was for that people that were in attendance and stuff. And I was like, I don't know. I had a good time. I was
that's weird.
It's such a weird fucking thing, right?
You realize that you were at the shittiest show ever. Like, no, I kind of had fun.
Right. No, like John Moxley came back and we saw CM Punk in a 3-second match. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, it wasn't everything that a show's cracked up to be, but I had a lot of fun watching it. And like you said, going back to your question, Neo, the pipe bomb promo or whatever, I thought it was fun. I really thought that, he's leaning into this whole thing finally in the right way. And it feels like all of the last year of Cody Rhodes kind of being a weird mystery about what he was doing kind of is paying off. But then there's anything involving his wife that is just an absolute disaster. And I have no idea what the fuck they're doing with that stuff.
Brandy cut that promo yesterday, and I know it was kind of cringy in the chat, but on the other hand, I guess I'm just leaning into the wrestling stereotype. She was doing it as a heel. It was a heel versus a heel, and it just didn't make sense. So that's why it was all shit.
Right,
it was just shit.
But the problem is Dave Lambert, or what's his name? Is that his name?
Dan Lambert.
Dan Lambert was out there speaking nothing but truths at times.
And the thing is,
he's supposed to be a piece of shit that I hate. Yet Brandy, don't make me agree with a piece of shit. Don't make me sit there and go, well, yeah, I mean.
Well, and Brandy trying to lean into it, right? So, Brandy is in this confused state of mind where she's like, am I trying to garner sympathy? Am I trying to be a dickhead?
Yeah, she has no idea what she's doing out there. It doesn't feel like it.
But then we go back to the whole Cody amalgamation. Maybe they're doing this on purpose.
Sure.
Maybe. And that's why when Dan said,
seems that way.
What was it? You guys should just finally turn heel, right? You heard that little that little quip in there. It's kind of I don't know. I think it's intelligently dumb.
But
I guess is the way I'm trying to describe
it. Bad. It's hard to watch. It's not a good decision.
Well, and that's the thing.
There's so many different ways they can go with it.
But I feel like they're also trying to, and again, this may be me just coming up with my own conspiracy theories. Just because the whole Cody road has been so rocky to watch, I just feel like they're just super leaning into it. Like they're just involving the whole family at this point.
I honestly thought you said the word roads, but you forgot.
I did.
No, drop the S off of it. Like you said, and I was like, but he's not. Oh, okay. I see where he's going there. Good, clever.
So one part of me is like, oh, this is done on purpose. And then the other part of me is like, oh, this is stupid. And then at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe they want me to think it's stupid. Maybe they want me to really.
Worked yourself into a shoot, you jabroni Mark. That's what you fucking did. I'll tell you this much. Dan Lambert, in the same breath, called himself a sexist and a conservative, as if those two things were both equally bad, and that made me laugh quite a bit. I also enjoyed the fact that they took that dig at Ethan Page about really just wanting to get to Josh Alexander, because Josh Alexander is my Facebook friend, and he's one of the few wrestlers who I'm Facebook friends with that actually like messages me and like comments on my pictures and talks to me. It's like him and Tony Deppen and Swerve. That's about it. But he is delightful. And if this is leading to Josh Alexander being in AEW, I'm all for that. So I don't care how bad this promo or this segment is, if that's the end result.
He had a match against
Oh, and you muted yourself right when you were in the middle of the result. You fucking right. You were right in the reveal and you mute yourself.
You're muted. You're totally muted.
You're still muted. I still can't hear you. You can talk all you want. You're still muted. You're ruining the show.
I think he unhooked his mic is what happened.
Yep. You probably unplugged your mic.
You just know he was going to make a great point.
I know. He was like right on the verge of it. And at this point, no, I'm not letting it go.
Good point, Dave.
Yes, Dave. Yeah, look, totally. Just walking off, just giving up. All right.
You guys notice on Twitter that Arn Anderson read my tweet and got mad at me?
About what? No. Which tweet?
So I tweeted out, hey, let me pull up the video. Let's chat amongst yourselves while I get it real quick.
Oh, my God.
They actually get the Arn Anderson, they had him read, AEW put out a tweet that said, do you ever wonder if Arn Anderson reads your tweets? And one of them they selected was mine. Somebody all of a sudden sent it to me. Hey, Arn's reading your tweet here. It was back when he was doing the coach bit where he was actually holding up.
Yeah, the little coach cards.
Coach card and covering his mouth to talk to Cody. Like people are going to read what he's saying. And he read it. I'm trying to get it up here and play it for you, but anyway, he took time to actually comment on the fact that.
Oh, this is like a video of him reading your tweet out loud.
This is like a mean tweets type of thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it. Hang on, keep talking amongst yourselves.
You get us in all sorts of trouble. Scroll. With your ideas and sticking to your morals and pointing out when people are wrong and right. It's crazy how much trouble you get us into. All of you.
Anyone in trouble?
I don't know. You guys are a bunch of troublemakers, but shout out, by the way, to AEW. I thought the show in Washington was a lot of fun. Both shows we went to, Rampage and Dynamite, they both honestly were really well organized. The dark matches and stuff were fun. I mean, we had some really great dark matches, Neo. I know you probably already saw those, but it was fun, man. I mean, honestly, like really. Some really compelling matches that I was surprised to even see on Dark. I think, I don't know. I think it was the kickoff to Rampage, but I think it was Wheeler Yuta versus Pentagon fucking tore the house down. And like, we just saw over the course of those, it was never the big match. And that's the thing that's great about AEW. And that reminds me of PWG sometimes it's the, like all of a sudden a match is just in front of you that you didn't even know was going to happen tonight. And it's like, oh wait, these two guys? Shit. All right, let's go. And that was a fun part of the Dark, especially. And yeah, I know maybe people said the other matches weren't very good or whatever during those two nights. I had a blast, and I got to see fucking Hook, and that's all that matters because Hook is the man. And yeah, that's my winner of the week. I'm just giving it to him now. Let's just put it out there.
You know, and I've come to the conclusion I tweet too much because I've been scrolling for quite a while. And
Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. You still can't find it. Yeah.
All right. Let me get it queued up. 4 or 5 times lately. Here we go. Anderson covered his mouth with paper so no one could see what he said to Cody was so funny. Darby has someone filming him and is providing feedback directly to Darby via earpiece. Well, it was a legitimate deal when I thought Cody was going to listen to me, but you can't coach somebody that's not going to listen. But if he's across the ring, I can scream it and nobody can read my lips. So that was the idea, and you know what? I got to agree with you. It bombed horribly.
Aww.
Indeed.
I made Arn feel bad.
You dick. I like that bit. That's a good bit. I always thought that would be a fun bit. I thought somebody should be out there with like a fucking tablet. I brought this up, by the way, at the wrestling promotion I work for. And then the promoter basically said to me, like, how would anyone see that? And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess we're not like on TV or anything. I was like, would it be cool if you had a tablet with like moves and you were like showing him like stuff to do like at ringside? And he was like, that's a terrible idea. No, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, because the only way they would see it is they'd have to put it up on the screen, and that totally there goes
Sure.
away your game plan.
Right. Yeah,
Hey, don't look up there, guy. Why? I'm
don't worry about what's going on up there.
don't look.
Anyway.
So one thing I wanted to bring
don't
up.
be mean to Arn Anderson anymore. God damn it.
I
So
said
one
it was-
thing I wanted to bring up about Hook.
Bring it.
So
Oh yes, please.
on AEW, Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley want to get married and have Hook as their adopted child.
Yes. Well, yes. One of their adopted children. They also
what?
want Wheeler. They want custody of Wheeler Yuta.
Not so much
And,
Wheeler. Like I'm okay with like Hook or maybe even like Daniel.
They want
Garcia.
Daniel Garcia. Yes, they want Daniel Garcia. Their baby.
You know,
boy too. Yes.
like
yeah.
what did that do for you guys?
It
Dude,
made my nipples a little hard.
I am so jazzed. Like out of everything that's happened,
Let me see them fingers. Let me see them fingers there, Schlag. There you go.
I have no idea what's going on right now.
I don't know either, but I can tell you though, like the Daniel Bryan Cobra Kai dojo thing that's happening in AEW. If that happens, it's all purely hypothetical, and Daniel Bryan just going on a rant. By the way, I was watching that. I'm like, how would they have led to this if not for the Brian Kendrick thing? I don't know. Maybe it was a spur of the moment thing that just happened. I don't know. Whatever it was, it was amazing. I'm very excited if it turns into something.
Brian Danielson's kind of been stalking Jon Moxley for a couple of weeks. Like when I was in DC, he was standing for the entire.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan.
That's right.
Planting seeds inside of Jon Moxley.
Yeah,
those seeds are gonna grow into a plant. Daniel Bryan's gonna fuck the plant.
No, I don't know.
And they're gonna have
fight the plant.
Children. They're gonna have wrestling children.
He's a
in the form of
dendrophiliac.
Daniel Garcia or
dirty tree fucker.
You know, I just want this marriage to happen. That's all I want. Like when this proposal was brought up, I just want this to be a thing. Like I know Moxley has a thing with like
his wife.
We're talking about wrestling, Beek. This is a wrestling podcast.
Oh, by the way, his wife was outstanding on the Dirty Dancing,
Jesus.
show that they have on Fox. Fantastic. She did great. She was hot as shit. She said it embarrassed her because she doesn't even do stuff like that with her husband. And I knew who she was talking about. Yes.
I just want them to create a faction and like have this thing where they really lean into this. Like,
yeah, they just
all
murder.
the things that he
it's
said.
a murder faction.
Yes.
Yeah. I really want this to become, something to fruition. But do you think Mox is gonna, rally back to like Eddie Kingston or something like that? Like, do you think he's gonna fall back into those tropes?
I must have missed this promo.
Here's the thing, Eddie Kingston. For me, that was always kind of cool because we knew what that was rooted in, right? But it didn't feel like, especially at the beginning, it didn't feel like it was.
They had a blood feud. They had a blood feud, and then it settled, and then they were homies.
Then they were best friends, right?
Yeah.
And then but the best friend part, it really blossomed into something wonderful. Like I really enjoyed their promos together, and I mean, Eddie Kingston's already a great promo, but when he got together with Mox, it was funny and even better than he normally is, which is incredibly hard to believe. But he, it's definitely his strong suit. Yeah. You can tell though that Eddie works even better when he's working bouncing off someone, right?
Well, and that
leads me to believe that Moxley's open to doing more stuff like this. I don't think Moxley's like interested in doing the whole I'm the champion going after the belt kind of thing as much as he's interested in doing cool shit with guys that he likes to work with. Bryan Danielson is a guy that everybody wants to work with. I could see this going either way. I could see it going in the actual faction or this becoming like a program where it doesn't work out, so Bryan needs to kick him in the head for it not working out.
Well, just imagine if they adopted Lee Moriarty, Daniel Garcia, Hook, That's freaking insane.
Would you fucking leave Hook alone? Hook's fine where he's at. Stop fucking around. Stop trying to move Hook away from his dad. What is wrong with you? Let's move Layla Hirsch on the team Taz. Let's give everybody where they should be, right?
No, this is what I want from wrestling, and I'm sticking to it.
The guy wants a thing. Let him want.
Give me my thing.
Daniel Garcia is
who dat?
the premier murder baby. He's the one that I would say that they would take into their little murder tutelage and make him into a murder expert. But boyos, you guys were in LA. You got a chance to see the actual thing I wanted to see more than anything else, the annual Battle of Los Angeles 2022. And you got to see the murder baby become, I guess you should probably fast forward or mute this if you don't want to be spoiled, but the murder baby became PWG Bola champion, or not champion, but
winner of the Battle of Los Angeles.
of the tournament. Correct.
The murder man.
The champ of the tournament.
My first
PWG, but the tournament, yeah.
My first question, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you.
He's a trophy recipient.
He's the winner. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. My first thought, and this wasn't out of jealousy for not going, because I've been telling you openly how jealous I was that I didn't get to attend due to COVID. But I found that when I found that he won the tournament, I was disappointed and almost a bit relieved that I didn't go, because I felt like I would have been upset with that as the outcome. I felt like
I was upset.
Maybe the outcome was changed.
For reasons.
I feel like the outcome was changed due to Jonathan Gresham not being able to attend.
Yeah.
Maybe even due to who else? Pornbot over there. Right? Why can't I think of his name? Who else couldn't attend due to COVID?
Davey Richards.
Davey Richards, yeah. Yeah, the porn guy. The porn guy.
I didn't know he did porn. He did porn?
Well, now, he's doing porn now. That's his new field.
No, he is not.
He's EMT / wrestler / porn star. But neither could attend due to COVID. I'm guessing due to the porn shoots. That's why I'm guessing where he got COVID. But I feel like the outcome was changed. Do you guys feel like that was the same? Was there a story told throughout the tournament to kind of like back up Daniel Garcia winning this?
No, the story really more during the thing was Speedball's going to win this thing. That's the story.
That was the focus.
Yeah. Daniel Garcia definitely had some fucking incredible matches, but really they were selling Speedball as the guy who was going to win this thing, coming back from his long absence, not being able to
6 year hiatus.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't feel like they were going to keep up the Philip Five Skulls thing until Bola, and then maybe realize that Speedball being the big reveal wasn't going to be as exciting as what people were imagining.
Well, I think people would have flipped the fuck out. People popped huge for Speedball, dude. Like,
of course, fucking Speedball. Josh and I were at Mystery Vortex one year, and Speedball was fucking incredible. At like in one night, Speedball will win you over by far, win or lose.
They dropped the Phil Five Skulls thing is because I made that stupid shirt, Derek.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think it was going too far?
Couple days after I put that out,
you're always causing problems.
Like we don't want to make merch for this guy, this fake guy that we're putting over during the tournament. This guy gonna make money off it. But
the thing about Speedball too was that was the first time I've actually seen him wrestle. And that shit was brutal.
Yeah.
You guys ever seen that movie Ownbach with Tony Jaa?
Yes. Yeah, Tony Jaa's a fucking man, by the way.
Speedball wrestles like that guy.
Yeah.
And it is brutal. When he does that moonsault double knee crush to your skull.
Yeah, there's no way to pull that. You can't really.
It made me cringe so bad. And when I saw him doing it on the apron, the hardest part of the ring, by the way.
The hardest part of the ring, yes, sir.
Fuck off.
And people moving out of the way, and he just
lost it.
His knees into it. Yeah.
I could not. I cringed every time. Like I don't, because you're absolutely right. How do you guard against knee bones falling into your face? Like you just don't.
How do you make that? How do you lighten that up so it doesn't really hurt your opponent?
How do you work the boys?
Yeah.
Can I tell them what happened? Did you share what happened with anybody yet?
What?
With Garcia and you?
Oh yeah, I put my Griselda hat on him, and he
What?
threw
When
my,
he came out,
he threw,
hang
he threw
on.
my Griselda hat off.
He as Garcia comes out, his music hitting.
He's from Buffalo.
He's standing there.
He disrespected the and guess what? He was actually playing Benny the Butcher's song
What?
as his entrance music.
What?
And he's gonna disrespect the town that he's
He's
repping.
gonna disrespect the town.
Fucking Daniel Garcia
God.
looked like at Neil like he wanted to murder him.
That was well. I'm just like, yo, you disrespected Buffalo right there. Like you just disrespected everything, you know. I was like, whatever.
You guys were right by the entrance,
be,
by the way.
If you want to be a heel and really play into your gimmick and throw the hat, sure. But you just disrespected the town you're from. Just saying.
Did you get that? Did you get the hat back?
Oh
yeah, I had to pick it up off the floor.
No, okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah,
I was wondering.
It was so like Garcia comes out there mean mugging. Neil's got this hat showing it to him. Then turns around and puts it on his head. He fucking rips it off, throws it down, and just stared at Neil. I was standing there like, don't hurt me too. It was crazy.
I was like, please fight my giant friend. He's 6'1". He'll clearly chokeslam you.
He'll murder you.
Well, it's funny because Beek is staring down at half of the roster when they're walking out of the curtain.
Yeah.
Do you notice that?
Oh, yeah, of course I've noticed that.
Also,
he's a
when
Leo gigantic
Rush,
man, and they're all 5'9".
When Leo Rush came out, Beek was all like, hey, little buddy.
I did not. Davey Richards thing, what really happened is he's not doing porn. He claims he did a photo shoot and a video for his wife, and then that got leaked by the guy who did it. So it all originally came out. Everyone said he was doing porn. That's what. What
was the photo shoot, Beek?
It was him.
He's got a big dong.
With his wiener.
He's got a big.
Yeah.
So he had sex on video.
No, it was like a boudoir naked photo shoot, but it looks like a porn basically.
Yeah, he's jack-o'-lacking off.
So he was like doing Playgirl essentially,
but doing the full routine.
Show me.
Yeah, that old
one of these.
That one, a little bit of that, little five knuckle shuffle.
And his reaction to finding out that everyone was talking about it, he's like, just the wiener. And then he tweeted out, wieners equals dollars. And I'm like, everyone's like,
that's right. That's right. Or apparently gift cards that were thrown into the ring at PWG.
That was the owner of the promotion Prestige in Portland. He's the one that did that.
Was he throwing in gift cards for the event? What was he giving them gift cards for?
It's everyone's throwing in money in the match.
Yeah.
So he threw in a $10 gift card. So normally people are throwing $1. He went up above and beyond $10 gift card.
Was it Starbucks? Was it Target? Which way? That depends on what it is.
I thought it was an EBT card at first. I go, did somebody throw in their EBT? That's fucking crazy.
But you know what though? I think my contribution was much more relevant. Man. I actually threw like my last 200 pesos in the ring.
Nice.
So the luchadors appreciated that. Like they didn't have to go to like currency exchange,
Sure.
And they got it in their real currency. They're really appreciative of that.
It's funny because me and Josh, and I think Beek, you were there too in 2015, right? Mm-hmm. That's when that shit started, when the Lucha Underground guys all came to Bola. And that's when like the money tradition started. But then, much to my delight, it didn't go
maybe
away.
In Bola.
Right. No. Yeah, in Bola.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Not in general. Yeah, I know that's totally.
No, that's where they started.
That's a Lucha. I just mean that's where.
We appropriated that's where that began.
Yeah.
You guys are gentrifying my wrestling all over again.
Yeah.
I also like how white guys made up these cool, elaborate masks. They're like, we're going to wear these cool masks with colors because we're cool white guys. No. We're appropriating everything now, Neil. That's the fucking point. It's all ours.
That's right. Fucking Danhausen. Look at Danhausen.
He's out of here.
Danhausen appropriated Conan O'Brien's gimmick, and look at him now. He's one of the most popular wrestlers that doesn't have to wrestle. Is Danhausen's foot still broken? Like he's limping around and not doing anything. Huh?
Yeah, he's got a broken leg.
He's in a boot, right?
I think he's got a leg cast because his actual leg got broken, but
right.
Anyway,
it's very impressive that he's out there fucking doing something and trying to act like he's fine. And I mean, honestly, I got to give AEW credit for that, right? they've done that with several guys. They did it with Ricky Stark. They've done it with a bunch of guys where they're injured and they just keeping them on the show, you know.
So it was one of those things where like JR's like, what do you mean he's cursing people? Yeah, he's cursing people. He's preventing them from doing their thing in the ring.
But he doesn't curse. No one should curse. Not in Dan Hassel's
so it's a very evil boot.
It's a very nice boot, but it's very nice, but very evil.
But to give you a little bit of feel, Derek, you did not miss the best Bola I've ever seen. It was a lot of fun. It was awesome. The main event was maybe one of the best matches I've seen at the Globe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think honestly, Taurus and JD Drake really tore it down for me.
Was sick.
That match,
by the way,
was great.
I fucking love Black Taurus so much because they took a backstage picture. I think Esther Lynn took it, and it's of everybody that was involved in Bola.
Yeah.
And, you know, some guys are in street clothes at this point, and some guys are just kind of casual. And fucking Black Taurus is standing there with his, like, fucking arms crossed, looking fucking over all shittily at everybody else. And I'm just like, mwah, protect the business. I love you. Like, it's so great. And I just love him as a wrestler. He's one of those guys that has continued to impress me. I miss Ugg. When's Ugg coming back? I miss a lot of our Australian friends that haven't come back to PWG. I was hoping to see some of those guys on the roster, but again, I think they just continue to find ways to be impressive. Was there any big, like, fun match on night 2 like they normally have with the night 3 at Bola or anything like that? Or was it all just business?
The 8-man was really rad.
Yeah, instead of a normal 10-man like they do normally, since the matches were cut down, they only had 8 competitors afterwards to be in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was insane. Actually, it was really good. It wasn't just a ridiculous.
It wasn't just funny. Yeah.
No, there was some funny spots. They brought out a remote control. Like Cristen had an actual remote control and was pausing people, and they were like moving them about and manipulating time with the remote control. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And see, I love shit like that. Anything that would fly in Chikara, aside from like sexual abuse, is stuff I enjoy. I love the ridiculous.
The other cool thing was Jonah and Buddy Matthews were playing paper rock scissors in the ring. I got a big kick out of that. That was pretty rad.
Oh yeah, and you might have possibly taken video and posted it to social media like you're not supposed to at PWG events.
From the Steel Cage account.
You son of a bitch! I am the mayor of Reseda. I am well known in that part of town, Neo. What the hell are you doing to my reputation? I can't wear this shirt in the streets, knowing that there was video taken on this account, you know?
One really unfortunate thing of the event is a very well-spirited and meaningful fan was very loud and supportive of all her favorite wrestlers, but she was very, very, very loud. And she was seated right behind us the entire show. But the second show, she had, through the grapevine, learned how very loud she was and felt kind of bad. And, like, asked people, was I really that bad? And it was like, yeah. I think at one point Dave even turned around and said, stop yelling in my ear. So, yeah. That was one thing that wasn't not so fun.
It wasn't Cristen, was it? It wasn't Marianne or Cristen, right? Okay.
This little lady named Wendy. Okay. Hi, Wendy.
Shout out to Wendy.
Oh, my
We get goodness. It. You know, it's funny. The one thing I love about Bola is the combination of the regulars that have been to almost every single PWG event mixed with the people that have never been to a PWG event and just don't even know how to act.
Well, like unfortunately, though, it was one of the regulars that got pissed drunk and started yelling shit at the wrestlers, right?
Oh, that sucks.
You know, he's not necessarily he's a guy who shows up every once in a while and started talking shit and getting in trouble.
But he's gone to more than one PWG.
Yeah,
right?
But he's more known
because myself, I usually just go to Bola. This guy has gone to more PWGs than I have.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a regular. He's not one of the guys who's like part of any of the PWG crew. Like you guys know, with that vibe, when you go to PWG, it's not like that. There's not a whole bunch of people like that. That has started up.
No, as a matter of fact, they typically out those people like that asshole Lucha John or whatever his name used to be that would come up and yell racial shit and get in fights with people. Honestly, even one of the dudes I know that kind of acts as a heel, but he's a decent guy. But yeah, some people just kind of get out of control with the way that they act at PWG, right? Especially with the proximity to the ring and the wrestlers, the exclusivity of it, the fact that there's not that many people there.
Well,
So
and
some
a
people
lot of them
with
are
a
just
loud
pissed
voice,
drunk. They're just
correct.
pissed drunk.
Yeah. Especially if you start don't drink that blue drink. Don't drink that blue drink.
Oh,
I
saw
you.
a bunch of that blue drink out there. I'm like, no way.
I implore you not to drink the blue drink at Globe. You can do whatever you want, but if you want to remember the show, which trust me, here's a pro tip. I have paid for way too many nights of Bola that I don't fucking remember, and Joshua Schlag can attest to this, that I don't remember them. I don't even know what the fuck happened at some of them. I have been present for some of the most amazing matches that have taken place in pro wrestling history and barely recall them.
But
I'm not Sleepy Joe. I'm not Sleepy Joe in the front row, fucking completely out of it. But I can say that 2-3 pitchers deep at the American Legion had your mind erased enough. Now the Globe has an open bar with actual alcohol and shit. It's a recipe for disaster and you not remembering what you saw with your $189 ticket costs, right?
So yeah, I had an $80 bar tab, and
that'll happen real fast at the Globe, especially once they let you in and you start mingling and you start having a good time. It's fun, but again, it's part of the reason why. I mean, at times I have enjoyed our wrestling trips, but I've enjoyed the other stuff we do on our wrestling trips more than the wrestling itself. It's usually because I'm in some cases entirely too drunk once we arrive at these events. And again, I wish you all the best, but I say try to keep your wits about you and enjoy your show. I did that in DC. There was a limited amount of alcohol and it was very expensive at the venue, but still had a good time. DC was still a surprisingly fun town, just like anywhere you go. And I think, again, with Bola, that's part of what I miss is I miss the PWG regulars. I miss the people who I became friends with. And Brian called me the mayor of Reseda for shaking hands with and kissing babies and giving out waters. Those people are really cool. And especially that area of LA now where the Globe is has some great spots. The Dank Dojo and some of the restaurants.
Yeah, if they're open past 10 p.m. Jesus
If
Christ.
they're open past 10 p.m. Yeah, that was always the case in Reseda, but of course that's Reseda. So you get the Denny's or maybe the Circle K if you want to get a late night snack. That was your choices there. But
so poor Beek, he tried ordering us chicken fingers or chicken tenders and fries, and the order was like totally botched.
Where was this botched?
It was
some place while we were in the hotel room.
Yeah, we just
ordered
Uber
some
Eats.
food delivered.
Yeah, we did some Uber Eats. There's nothing worse than eating really good chicken tenders with no sauce and Cajun fries with no ketchup. That shit just sits. It just sits in your intestine like a ton of bricks. It just sits there.
It needs the sauce to lubricate on the way down.
Lubrication, yeah.
Oh, it was bad.
Oh, that sucks. I'm so sorry to hear that, but I know exactly what you're talking about, by the way. It doesn't matter. They could be the best fucking chicken tenders in the world. If I don't have some honey mustard or something to go with it, fuck it. It might as well be trash.
Yeah. But that's the breaks when you're doing Uber Eats and traveling. So
that's right.
But you know what? Right. Overall, I think Bola was great.
Awesome.
There was a lot of people that I wish there would have been at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and I really wish they did more tag team stuff, maybe as filler in between the matches. But honestly, I could see why they didn't. There was enough singles competition to thwart that want. So really it's just a setup for Daniel Garcia and Bandito. So we'll see when that happens, right?
That's exactly what it comes down to. And I mean, that's going to be a fucking absolute fire match. And I'm like, it was weird. I was kind of mad at PWG for holding Bola the same when I thought I was still going. I was kind of bummed out about it being the same weekend as Royal Rumble. And to be honest, it's really not on PWG. Like, obviously, they never do Bola at this time of the year. So it's going to be interesting to see if it remains at this time of the year or if it switches back to its normal, like late September. It seems like they're definitely trying to avoid Labor Day weekend, which was there when they did it before, because now that's all out. And so many of their talent that would be available for PWG won't be for All Out. So I could totally understand them moving it to another time. And I didn't hate this time of the year, but fuck WWE for moving the Royal Rumble. You know, the Royal Rumble has always historically taken place the same weekend as the Pro Bowl. It's always been that Sunday in between
at least on a
conference
Sunday.
championships and Super Bowl. It should be this Sunday is when it should take place. And they moved it earlier. And that really bothered me because, again, I was so looking forward to PWG's Bola. And, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it was I'm sure it wasn't related in any way other than them just trying to, you know, do it on a day they thought might get more traction. But it pissed me off. It pissed me off a lot because I like the Royal Rumble. And I guess
I had the feeling they were just trying to keep it in January and they just bumped it back, you know, a little bit because I guess, you know, usually it has to do with, like you said, when the Pro Bowl is going on, but NFL had the extra week this year, which is really stupid. I still think it's dumb.
Well, and WWE also has the fact that now they're doing the pay-per-views on Saturday, which has been a decision that they
You mean
are
premium
all
live
those
events
on Saturdays now?
Yeah, premium
the
live
last
events.
couple have been on Saturday. Yeah, the last couple have been on Saturday. So it's like their new day is Saturday.
premium live events.
You know why they choose
Premium
Saturday?
live events.
You know why? Because Saturdays night's all right for fighting.
What?
What
There
did
you
you
go.
just say?
They choose
Oh,
Saturday
Joe.
because Saturday
fucking
night's
dare
all right
you.
for fighting. Now
Can
you're
we
supposed
kick
to
him off the
show?
show?
We get the fuck out of here.
Josh, can you boot him from the show? I think you should.
You know what?
I'm fucking done with all of you
support
now. I hate you so much. Let's do winners of the week. Winners of the week. Beek, because you started this shit, you get to go first. Go, winner of the week.
You know what? My winner of the week. My
Winner of the wink.
my winner of the week is Seth Rollins because I didn't watch.
You're such a shit king. You are a fucking shit king.
I only match I want to watch. He's hilarious. He's cracking me the fuck up. That and maybe Daniel Garcia.
Well, you can't do fucking both.
You can't
Shut
do
up.
two.
You pick one winner of the week. Neo, let's hear your winner of the week.
My winner of the week is going to be Jack Cartwheel.
Oh.
That motherfucker flew off the opera box and took a cutter from what's his name? All Heart.
Blake Christian.
Blake Christian.
Blake Christian, yeah. I love both of those guys,
That
by the way.
spot-
But he took a cutter off the opera box.
Yeah,
Holy
so
shit.
he did like this like plancha off the opera box.
Yeah.
And Blake Christensen caught him midair and just gave him that cutter on a group
Out
of
of
like
nowhere.
wrestlers. Oh, that shit was wild, dude. My butthole like puckered. It's like puckered so tight because I was just afraid someone was gonna die.
Yeah, I know. They take that fucking opera box shit way too fucking loosely. It's like too close to the ground, I guess, for those guys to resist jumping off of it.
And respects to Blake Christian, he did a Topa Suicida against I think it was Bandito, and Bandito didn't. I think his foot hit the second rope, and he just pancaked on the floor. It was a sickening thud.
Oh yeah,
Like you could hear it all across the globe, and
Yeah.
it was. But you know, feel better. I mean, he was obviously well enough to go into this entire match and like keep going, but it was super concerning. So, but overall, Jack Cartwheel is the guy. He took that cutter like a champ. So, shout out to you, sir.
I still just at times I'm amazed about how WWE parted ways from guys like Alex Zane and Blake Christensen without giving those guys like a real chance to be on TV and be seen, because those guys are just incredible. They're gonna regret it.
totes.
I don't know what the fuck
Totes.
they're doing with this whole NXT 2.0 shit, but they're gonna fucking regret it. Josh, your winner of the week, sir. I know you're back to watching wrestling, so you should have probably been up.
Yeah. I've enjoyed a lot, particularly on the EEW side of things. I'm gonna go with what I mentioned earlier, Daniel Bryan, his little tease there this week of his upcoming dojo. I'm absolutely stoked for it. So yeah, just gotta stick with my guy. That
incredible heel move to just come out in white t-shirts, by the way. That is one thing that still blows my mind.
You're never gonna get past it.
I'm never gonna get over it because just from the beginning I was like, something weird is about him wearing plain white t-shirts. And of course he turned into the biggest shit heel that he could be, right?
And you know what? He buys them at Walmart or some dumb shit like that.
An 8-pack. Like $9.
He's bought one pack of t-shirts, and that's it so far.
Yeah.
He bought it at H&M. But I would, honest to God, Josh, I really want he and Moxley to get married and adopt 3 wrestling children.
I really
and just take over the whole thing.
I'm just seeing the game of life with them in the front seat and that card that you pull in life where it's you got 5 children now. Yes. Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty. Who else can we fit in this fucking car? Hey, you. Yeah. Wheeler Yuta, get in the car. No, you're not fucking around with the best friends anymore. Danhausen can hang out with them. You get in this car. You're in this car now.
Can Bear Country hang out with them?
No, Bear Country cannot. Bear Country hasn't won a single goddamn match the entire time I've watched.
You know who would be a good alternate would be JD. If they took JD Drake. I think if they had a big heater JD Drake.
No, he can't come either. I'm sorry.
Why?
Because I said no. That's why.
Or what if they got what's his name? Who hangs out with MJF? Who's gonna turn?
Oh, Wardlow.
Yes. What if they took Wardlow?
They can absolutely have Wardlow.
There
They
you
can
go.
absolutely have
He
Wardlow as your murder baby.
He could still be the heater and not hate himself. Yes.
Yeah, because they would need some sort of heater.
They could even have Lance Archer if they want it as the heater. It's not as good as Wardlow, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm taking Hook. Hook is my winner of the week now, then, forever and always. I just still don't understand.
Hey, you know what? Spoken like a true hooker.
I don't have to explain myself. I'm a hooker. That's it. That's what it comes down to.
We're all hookers.
I scream like a little girl. I've listened to Chairman's Lament 500 times since seeing him the last time. And I'll probably listen to it right after I'm done with this podcast because you don't even know me. You don't even know me. And he is,
you piece of shit,
completely living up to all of this ridiculous hype that I don't know anybody could live up to. It's so weird watching Dominic Mysterio, who I personally know the guys that trained with him, and they constantly have told me what a great guy he is and how good he is at wrestling and how dedicated he is to this and all this stuff, right? And it's great to hear, but I don't know, there's nothing about Dominic Mysterio that makes me excited to see him as a wrestler. Pairing him with his father and doing the stuff that they're doing doesn't really help him in any way.
He has 0 edge,
right?
0.
And I mean, honestly, even at fucking DC, right? They did the classic, each night Tony Khan had to come out and he had to, thank the crowd personally and say some stuff and then have somebody come out. The first night Sting came out and talked about Starrcade 97 in that same building in Washington, D.C., or not that same building, but in D.C. with WCW and all this other stuff, right? Well, on Rampage night, CM Punk was the special guest during Tony Khan's post-show wrap-up. And one of the funniest things that CM Punk said was, CM Punk was like, yeah, you guys want to see Hook? Maybe we can get him out here. He's back in the back eating chips and smoking weed. And that just made the crowd go insane. And then he had to excuse himself. He's like, oh, I guess I shouldn't be telling you guys that.
I guess I'm going to go smoke some weed with Hook.
He's like, I guess I shouldn't be telling you guys he's smoking weed in the back. Isn't smoking weed still illegal in DC? And then people were like, no, it's fine. And then people started chanting, smoke that weed at CM Punk. And then he was like, are you guys chanting smoke that weed at me? He's like, do you remember who I am? The straight edge guy, right? And then proceeded to just kind of laugh it off and make some more jokes about, fucking Hook smoking weed. And again, that's the kind of shit that just adds to his weird fucking, he's like a street ruffian from New York City or something that fucking hangs out in bodegas all day long and fucking fights people. I don't even know what Hook is, but everything that they've done with him as a character, as a wrestler, as everything has been somehow perfect. it's somehow all worked out. I saw pictures. He was even in attendance at a Action Bronson concert, and Action Bronson brought him up on stage and fucking sang Chairman's Lament with him on stage. And
did Hook stand there like Booker T?
Oh no, he had a hoodie on. He did his thing. I guess he did kind of stand there like Booker T. You're not wrong about that, but
Awesome.
I mean, like, dude, he's just living his best life, and I mean, I can only imagine how proud Taz is to be there as like an onlooker and like a narrator to his own son's like meteoric rise. It's very cool. It's very cool. But that's all I got. You guys, thank you so much for checking out episode 4. What is this? 59 of the Steel Cage podcast. I can't believe we've done this many episodes. I'm glad you guys missed us. We're glad to be back. Obviously, you can get us all on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. Neo is at the NeoX. Beek is at James Vanderbeek with a JAIMS Vanderbeek at the top. Schlag is at Schlizag. But of course, all roads lead to at the Steel Cage. Send us an email to podcast@thesteelcage.com. Obviously, Josh, he's back, so that means he's here to like forward emails to me and read them.
Well, we can answer some emails. We got an email asking
answer your emails.
There was an email saying like when is there going to be a new episode? Boom,
now,
right here.
There
it is.
You wanted to know when there it is. This is the answer.
Obviously, it was you guys when they started this. So an hour and 10 minutes ago, or 20 minutes ago, that's when a new episode happened. Right then, and you just
how can we get back to then? When will then be now?
Bing bong.
Soon? All right. Well, fucking no Spaceballs fans in here. Anyway, all right. You can get all of us on Twitter, like I said. Send us an email. Go to thesteelcageshop.com. Buy a t-shirt. They're the king of soft style. They are now. They will forever be the king of soft style. That's the way we roll. I'm rocking this bad boy right now. You can also go over to Uncle Beek's shop, and that's at pentagonzo.com. Pick up one of his wonderful shirts. Do all of the things. Check out the Unfunny Nerd Tangent. Even though we haven't been around, they've been around, and they've been doing their thing. So check out those guys. Our friend Rock has been joining the show. It's been a great time over at the funny, not funny nerd tangery. But we appreciate you guys checking out the show and joining us. Thank you so much for checking out the episode. And remember, kids, Josh isn't coming back next week.
Oh,
I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Prove us wrong, Josh. Prove us wrong.
Starting the Goldberg streak.
All right, you have to end the show now, Josh. That's where you end the show.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
You know, do the thing. End the show. Thank you guys for watching.